how you planned it. I know you don't always understand it. I know it's been a hard year. Yeah, it's been a hard year for me too. Feeling like you can't go on. Feeling like the night is so long. You know that I'm right here, and I hear what you're going through.
So, are you in Nashville?
I am in Nashville.
Hey.
Nashville Sounds hat.
Yeah.
I'm in East Nashville. I'm about, a mile and a half away from where that bomb went off. Maybe 2 miles.
Right.
I slept straight through it. But the fiance, she woke up. She said it shook her house. Kind of crazy, right?
Man, I mean, yeah. The way things are in the world these days, especially in the States, that seems almost like years ago because so much has happened since then.
Oh, I know. Someone said, I think last week, that we've had about a year and a half's worth of news in about 10 days.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of just realized how exhausted I was from all of it. But things are looking up. So
yeah. So that was one of the things I wanted to ask you. Do you feel like things are changed in the last 24 hours?
Well, I mean, I've been busier, we got a photo, we got a photo shoot in, we've got an album coming out. We've got a video shoot, all kinds of good stuff. So, as COVID careful as we could be, everything was outside, and everybody got tested and whatnot. And,
right.
It's just been a lot, this week, which is great because, the previous 40 weeks or so, I haven't been doing very much anything.
Right, gotcha.
So it feels like we're getting back on the wagon here.
That's all right. And of course, the album is being released, Silver Dream, in a mere hours away from you. It's actually the 22nd here in New Zealand.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But in it, one thing I noticed, especially like with a song like The Beginning, it's quite an optimistic record, and maybe time is just happening perfectly at this time. So, do you think about how it's being received?
This is the beginning when it all starts to work. Time we started digging for diamonds in the dirt, and now I know it's a long walk back from yesterday. Broken, you fill it all up with pain.
Of course. So what's funny is that the entire thing was written in 2019.
Right.
And so, but all the songs just seem to like really, just apply to all these events, from 2020 and now 2021. The beginning, I hadn't even thought of that necessarily.
Right.
But like, Light Up, it says, yeah, it's been a hard year for me too. And released that in the middle of 2020. I mean, Hometown Heroes applies to all the nurses and frontline workers and whatnot, of which, I'm engaged to one of them. So
there you go.
Yeah. So, it's just remarkable to me how poignant all the songs and lyrics and stuff are for the past, I guess, year and a half or year, I don't know, year, whatever. So.
And do you think about how they're being perceived now as opposed to how you thought they would be when you wrote them?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just maybe it's the mark of just a good song, that it can apply to so many different things. And it just happens to work out. And to be honest, I hate it that they have to be applied to such a negative thing. But I mean, we're all living through it. And if it helps people get through it too, that's great.
Right. Now, and the other thing I noticed is like a lot of them feel like stadium anthems. And of course, nobody's in the stadium anymore.
Right. Yeah, we actually have our live stream tomorrow. That they won't even let wives and parents or anybody like that come. So,
right.
That's someone asked me the other day, what do you miss the most? And to me, it's just that roar of a crowd sound. I mean, and I really miss that. And we write songs because I think we write songs that are stadium-like songs because that's something that we get a thrill from, is hearing that roar and the fan interaction, a big sound, and that's what we want. So I'm glad you took it that way.
Yeah, well, and you do have a video out that apparently you guys put together on your phones for One Step Away.
One step away from falling off the edge.
Right. Spencer and Trevor did that. I can't remember if Spencer or Trevor's wife actually filmed it, but it was just a few blocks from their house. And I mean, that was in lockdown. We've been very careful with the COVID stuff. So, we didn't want to do anything, get together without the proper, safety protocols in place.
Right.
And that was something we could do to make a lyric video with just Trevor and his wife, who I think was pregnant at the time. Yes, she was pregnant at the time. So, extra precaution. So
have you guys got together and talked about how you're going to move forward in the environment with this record? And are you going to try and how do you connect with your fans in this situation?
Well, through as much social media as you can. We're doing a Facebook Artist of the Day on Monday. Just try and stay in touch through social media. I mean, as much as you can. That's kind of the only real way to do it. Live streams.
Right.
Yeah. And then, just hoping that we can get back to playing some shows by the summer. That's what I'm hoping for. But I'm also a fairly optimistic person. So, I might be shooting a little too early, but I do think it'll be by the summer.
Cool. So take me back to when you were recording the album. What was the vibe in the studio, within the band? What were you guys thinking, feeling? How did you work?
We worked really, really quickly on most of the songs. I feel like Spencer's our producer, and so I don't know how much behind the scenes work he really had to do. So maybe me saying it's quickly, it wasn't quickly for him, but we only. I mean, I remember I went up to Spencer's house and recorded all the bass, I think, in 1 week. And then we did the drums at a studio in Franklin, I think over just like a couple of days. So, there's a whole lot of work being done from at home. And then just subtle things or certain things in the studio, like drums, maybe some keyboards, a little bit of guitar. But it's kind of remarkable what you can do from a home studio these days.
Right. Yes, that's true. I mean, we got people who just build up entire albums all by themselves, sitting in front of their computer. So, and it sounds like, Abbey Road.
Yeah. Right. There are some studios and producers that just swear by going to tape, which a lot of people just don't do anymore. But there are some people that swear by it. It's old school. So there's a certain segment of the musical population that stays true to analog. Right.
Now you guys as a band also are affiliated with sports, and you have sponsorships and things like that. And of course that whole world is in kind of a mess as well. So how has that affected you?
Well, I'm a Titan season ticket holder.
Right.
And they only sold tickets to, I think they were shut down for the first 2 home games.
Right.
And they only sold tickets to the season ticket holders. And I had a pot of 6 that I could buy, and I bought 2, but I only bought them to 3 games because I really did not want to potentially, get infected at any game, at any point where I might be seeing my parents or something like that, or any band event.
Yeah.
So I spaced them out and was very careful. Okay, let's make sure we're far enough away from Thanksgiving and far enough away from Christmas, and any live stream that we had. And then we actually got to perform on their halftime show for the last playoff game, their only playoff game this year.
Right.
They put us in a luxury suite and stocked it full of food, and that was super fun. I don't know how the sports cultivation began, but I mean, I'm here for it. I'm really enjoying it. We've done all kinds of things. We did a halftime, not a halftime show. I'm sorry, a pregame tailgate for the national championship for Alabama and Clemson. I can't remember what year it was. I want to say 2017. And I mean, it was, again, give you tickets, and we went to an ESPN party the night before, and all kinds of just fun stuff. I mean, the sports circuit is fun.
Yeah. Well, I guess in this day and age, since nobody actually pays for music anymore, they log on to Spotify, which rips everybody off, as far as in my own personal opinion. You guys have to find a way to earn a living with the music, and you guys seem to be doing a very good job of associating yourself with different brands and sponsors and all that. Is
Right.
that part of what you guys set out to do, or is it just kind of happened organically?
Well, getting support financially from those, those sort of commercials and that aspect of it, yes, that's nice. Generally, that just goes back to what it costs to make the record and print it and put it out. Generally,
Right.
But the best part of it is just getting your music out there. I mean, people aren't aiming to listen to your song, and then they might hear it and they're going to be a fan and go
Right.
check you out and check out other songs, and then they're a fan. So, getting your music out there is really important to us. And as long as the brand is, congruent with, what our ideals in most
Right.
respects, we're good with it.
Yeah. Do you worry about people accusing you of selling out, whatever that means these days?
I mean, people will always say that. And I mean, you just got to ask them, like you said earlier, are you paying for any music? And the answer is usually no.
Yeah.
Like, we had a McDonald's commercial, and it was because they were opening up their breakfast to being all day and all night, right?
Right.
Whereas previously it was only sold between 7 and 10 a.m.
Yep.
And you know what? I happen to really like McDonald's breakfast.
Right. And you probably
So,
don't get up before noon if you're touring.
not if I don't have to. I mean, so now, I mean, sometimes when we're touring, it's a little heavier than you would think. Like, I can't tell you how many times in 2019 I was at the airport before 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like 3:30 in the morning, and then you're so busy, there's nowhere to sleep. When you get to where you're going, and then you play a show at night, or you're signing stuff all day, or doing radio shows, and you're just so busy. Sorry about that. You're just so sorry. My dishwasher was making a funny noise. I had to go turn it off.
Okay.
And so you're just so busy that you're just really not sleeping much at all. And when you get home, you sleep till 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I mean, and that lifestyle that you have just described is pretty much, the lifestyle of a working musician, which seems to have gone by the wayside. How have you had to personally kind of rethink what your life is on a day-to-day basis?
So I, that has also been exhausting, especially in the beginning. It's like, okay, what am I going to do? Because I've got a lot of time on my hands. And so, I learned how to cook. I started exercising more. I've started running a lot. I'm actually going to go on a run as soon as we're done here. And because I've got this great park right by my house that I never used to use. It's got 15 miles of greenway to run on. So, let's use what the government's giving you.
Sure.
And play golf when I can. I mean, I got to kind of turn more into like a more routine life. And I got to really experience this whole year is like, okay, this is what it's like if I was like working, at home all the time, sit in the same city all the time.
Yeah.
And yes, it's great in some ways, but I mean, I can't wait to be back on the road.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When was the last time you guys played together?
Well, let me think here. New Year's Eve.
Right.
We were part of the Nashville's what do you call it? New Year's Eve show. We got to ring in the new year in Nashville on our local television. I think CNN cut to it for a little while.
Right.
And that was great. That was great because I was just so honored and proud that Nashville had tapped us to give 2020 a big kick in the ass on the way out the door. So I mean that felt really cool. And then we're also the first band, playing on 2021.
Right.
All Hangs On. So I was really happy and honored to be able to do that.
Very cool. Now, getting back to the album, is there a track on it that you want to talk about that you particularly you kind of personally? And there it is.
I brought it right here. Yeah. Let's see here. I really like "Live for It" a lot.
Okay.
Tonight's too young to die. Come on, come alive and live for it. Live for it. To look into your eyes, to be with you tonight. I live for it. Live for it.
It's got some kind of like rock, but it just feels like it's when we first got the recording back, we were worried. I had one of my friends. We had like a cancer scare for him, and I saw that song "Live for It," and we just got it back, and I was listening to it. I was like, wow, this is really cool, and everything turned out to be fine, which is great. But I think like, maybe someone else will be inspired in that same way if they're struggling with something.
Right.
So yeah, that's a special song for me.
Cool. The one I think I like the most is "Say."
Yeah, that's a great one too. A lot of people are saying that.
Were they?
Yeah. So, that's a great song. I mean, and yeah, it's so catchy, and there's so many great moments in it. I think it's got some legs.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, hopefully you'll have some legs on some stages sometime soon.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like that's what you need to be doing at this point. Yep. So what are the plans for when it turns out to be day of release for you, which is in a few hours?
Well, usually I get on Spotify for artists and just watch the numbers tick for a little while.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun because it does a little vibrate with each one.
Oh, really?
Like well, every time it updates, it's like brr, brr, brr.
Yeah.
And then I've got a stack day tomorrow for our release show live stream. We've got some records to sign, and we've got a rehearsal. We've got some cool tricks up our sleeve for that as well. I've got a lot of practicing to do because we're playing a lot more songs than we did on New Year's Eve, so I've got to shake the dust off a little bit.
Yeah. Is that something you do? Do you, as a bass player, do you kind of put it away until you need it, or are you kind of playing around with it all the time?
Oh no, I play around with it all the time. I'm constantly practicing and making up stuff. I don't really enjoy just like practicing songs very much. I like to just play and create licks, and that's and I get sucked into that. And that's not the right kind of practicing you should really be doing. You should be doing exercises and learning your songs and whatnot. So
building up calluses.
I have some of that to do. But when we're normally touring, I've got everything so locked in that I don't even have to think about it.
Right.
So yeah. And we're definitely going to be playing some of these new songs tomorrow, which we've never done. And because of COVID, we don't rehearse as much as we'd like to.
Right.
So when we do have the opportunity, it'll be tomorrow afternoon that we rehearse it, learn it, and then perform it that night. So.
All righty. Well, thanks for sharing your living room with me. And
yeah, thank you, Marty.
Believe me, it's been cool. Hopefully, you can come to New Zealand at some point and play. We're COVID free over here at the moment, so.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I would love to be down there. That's so strange that you guys are completely COVID free, so everything there is just completely good. Y'all can do whatever you want.
The only thing that we have to do is wear masks if we're on public transportation. Other than that, it's all good.
Gotcha. Wow. Well, one day here, maybe.
And of course, if you want to come into the country, you have to be in quarantine for 2 weeks.
Okay. Sounds worth it to me. I mean,
So we have live music, but we're very dependent on our local music scene, which fortunately is good.
Yeah, that's great. Good deal.
Well, hopefully things will open up for you soon. It sounds like things are happening. At least you got a record coming out. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much, Marty. Talk to you soon.
Righto. Bye-bye.